right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. You guys already know what time it is. It's Thursday, so that means that you are in effect with the Locker Room Show. This is where we close the door, where we tell the truth, where we keep it real about the football entertainment industry and everything that you guys are going to go through. So I'm pumped up for tonight's show. I got somebody very, very special that I'm excited for you guys to meet. But first and foremost, I'm going to introduce my boy, the one that holds me down every Thursday on the Locker Room Show, and that's none other than Q, the Guru. What's going on, Playmaker?
What's going on, Coach? We got another week, another great show, man. Y'all know how it is, man. Y'all know what it is.
We got another great show, man. We got some topics, and this is going to be the stuff that's real time that's coming out right now. So I want to introduce my guest. This is the person that you see in the middle of the screen. He's got his Grammys hat on because he's big time, especially in Denver. So you guys can mention his name if you ever go to Denver. But this is somebody, you guys, that is family to me. Somebody I actually went into college with, 17, 18 years old, from California like myself. Went off to go fulfill our dreams at the University of Colorado, started his career off amazing, totally on track to be drafted at a high level. And unfortunately, his career got cut short a little bit, which we're going to get into here in the story. But he didn't just sit and mope, you guys. He parlayed that into an amazing political and business career. And we're also going to talk about that too. So that is none other than my boy, Albus Brooks. How's it going, man?
Hey, man, Terrence Wood, man. Man, that's 25 years right there, bruh.
Hey, man, you gotta keep that on the low.
Hey, how y'all doing, man? It's such a pleasure, man, to be with both of y'all. I love what you're doing. It's all about really investing into the next generation. And y'all who are listening and young people, man, I wish we had this, right? Like we didn't have none of this. You know what I'm saying? We were just watching whatever we can get our hands on, videos about what was going on in college and doing what we could, man. But man, this is great to be able to have, first of all, black men 20 years after the career.
Black fathers exist.
Black fathers, you know what I'm saying? Successful and giving back. It's unheard of. And so, but a lot of it exists in our community, and I'm just glad that you guys are putting it on display, man. So much love to y'all, and I hope y'all get picked up. You know, that's what I was gonna ask you. T is like, man, Netflix picking this up, Hulu.
Hey, man, with your pool, we never know. We never know. So this is only episode 46, and we ain't even gonna look up until we get to 100. But we gonna keep it moving, baby. We're gonna give it to the people, and we proud to have you on, man.
That's what's up, man. You know, I honestly, man, this is big what y'all doing. I'm blown away, and we need to start pitching this to really make sure it gets out to more athletes, man. Not just football, right? You know, the basketball players and, you know, all these other student athletes who are getting into the game and have no idea what they're headed into.
That's right. Right. Perfect segue, you guys. So, hey, if you're joining us live or if you're joining us on the recording, thank you for tapping in. But this is the Locker Room Show. So we're about to get into these topics. You guys see the topics on the bottom ticker. And once again, we got my boy coming in. This is somebody that had an amazing career at the University of Colorado. But now, you guys, has got into the political field, has got into the business field. And once again, we appreciate big time number 21. His nickname used to be Blackout, because if you came across the middle, it wasn't going to be a happy evening for you. So let's get into it, you guys. The first topic, and this one caught my attention because we've all dealt with injuries, and this man, grown man making his own decisions for himself. But Brian Porter, great free safety for the Bills. He wasn't cleared, you guys, last week to go to the game with on the chartered flight for the Chiefs. And he said, you know what? If I get cleared in enough time to take a car, if I get cleared with enough time to be driven to the game, I'm a play. So let's bounce it to you, Albie. When you think about a doctor saying, "Hey, man, I don't think it's safe for you to fly, let alone maybe even possibly play, but you can't fly with the team." He somehow gets his approval. Do you think it was smart of this young man? Can you relate to his mindset? What's your thoughts when you see this story?
You know, man, I'm a 90s guy, right? So I'm old school, and so I really identify with this. I mean, this young brother just wants to be on the field. He just wants to compete. It's a big game. KC has embarrassed these guys in the past, right? And so he was like, Jordan's like, I'm getting out there and I'm going to be right there, making sure my backup has all the information, understands the call, can read the coverages and all these things. I mean, it's bigger than what y'all think it is. It's not just entertainment. It's really understanding the game. And that this game is bigger than yourself. It's about the team win. And so I really identified with it personally. And I loved it. I was like, oh, we got a little dog in here again. You know what I mean? Like what we grew up with. When you look around, you like, man, I want to make sure I got some dogs around me. And we gonna bounce. And so I love that intensity. I love that self-sacrifice, because that's what it's all about.
No, that's a great point right there. And there's always angles you guys can look at this, whether you're an athlete, a coach, or a parent. Now, obviously, we know some of the moms in the house, maybe even some of the dads might not have wanted their son out there. But I'm going to put the coach hat on you, Q. And let's say you the DB coach. You're going against Mahomes, and it's going to be tough. And you got somebody that wasn't cleared to go on the plane with you, but you see him pulling up to the stadium. Are you feeling good about that as a coach? Are you even tripping? What's your feeling?
Man, I'm feeling with the coaching hat on is I'm gonna have to go with the backup. And the reason being is because you always want your ones to be able to go, but if he gets in, and it only takes one play, now we've lost him for the rest of the season. You see what I mean? So that's an executive decision. Like you said, we 90s guys, man. All we know is, hard on your sleeve. I mean, we're going to go. I mean, it's a game of football, man. Definitely the era we from. You're going to go out on your shield every time, but that doesn't mean it's smart. You know what I'm saying? So in regards to this being a business, I as a teammate, the ultimate respect, because okay, man, this guy's going to ride with us come hell or high water. But in regards to a business decision, young athletes, and as a coach, man, you're going to have a seat, kid. I love your heart, but whoever's you backing you up, that's why, again, we say every week, don't we, coach? Hey, if you're a 2, don't get complacent. It will come a time. This is football. There will come a time, and the spotlight's going to be on you, and you're going to have to show up because guys are going to go down.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And for you young ones out there, there's different games, right? There's the preseason, there's the game that maybe is a non-conference game, and then there's the Super Bowl, and there's the playoffs, and there's big games when money's on the line where you might have to suck it up a little bit. I see some of our audience favorites. We got Mama Victoria Jones saying, waiting for a great show. She was here early for us. And then, of course, we got the great Eric Falls, Coach Falls, saying another week, another chance to learn, as always. And I know Coach Falls probably got his notes ready because he takes notes on the show and everything. So I love it. Let's get on to our next topic, you guys. And obviously, this is one that I always try to cater some of the topics to who is on the show, whoever our guest is. And, Al B, obviously I saw what you went through, man. Some of the things I didn't get to see off the field that you've been through. But when it comes to the on the field, I seen that transition where you had to go from playing to a new challenge, a new lifestyle. And I wanted to ask you, because for all of us, we come to that day where we got to say, hey, I'm going to put that gladiator shield down. I'm going to put that helmet up, and I need to find something new. How did you deal with having to stop playing football? Is there any advice you could give to anybody that's considering it?
First of all, I just want to stop. Q, you don't understand, man. Me and this dude right here used to kick it. You understand? Like, this was my boy. All right, let me stop. That's it. That's it. Man, I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing that prepares you for that day. You know, when Leffler, Dr. Leffler, you know who it is, bro, came in and just said, hey, your football career is over. You have a degenerative knee. This is your second ACL. You're done. I mean, I still remember, I tell this story all the time. I still remember being, you know, in my room, you know, very upset. And man, it kind of, not kind of, it was a dark moment, right? Because all of our lives since we was kids, man, this is what we look forward to. Sure. We look forward to ball, and we look forward to being with a group of men and just playing hard and doing, and when that's taken from you, when your skill set, your gift set is taken from you, and when all of that college accolades and the false narrative that this is all you're about, your calling is taken, now the gift comes. And this is what I always, it's the other side of the coin, is that that dark night turned to an early morning for me, where I was like, wait a second, what am I called to? Right? What gifts do I have?
Really called to, right.
Yes. What is my purpose? And so on one hand, losing that, and on the other hand, finding my purpose. And I did, man. It was with young black men in the city of Denver. And, you know, I haven't stopped since. And, you know, we now have a foundation in my dad's name. And it's powerful, bro. It's powerful. But that night, I had to get through that night. And I think a lot of athletes don't let that night go. They continue that night, right? Whether it be with alcohol addiction, whether it be with women, whether it be with man, I'm gonna try I'm a arena league. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna face a hard truth. And that night I faced the hard truth of, okay, this is over. What's next?
Wow, man, that's powerful right there. And, you know, it's all something that we're going to have to go through eventually. But, you know, it's different when it's ripped away from you early. This man was balling, and his body gave out on him, you know. So, you know, but obviously the transition has been magnificent. Talking to you, Q, was it a definitive moment? Because you and I went a little further. We did decide to pursue it a little longer. I know I had my moment, but was it a definitive moment where you knew enough is enough, or did somebody tell you? You know, we look at some of these athletes like Tua that have recently been injured, you know, and obviously he's coming back this weekend, but people probably in his ear like, man, you think you want to go back? So talk to me a little bit, Q. When did you decide that, hey, I know enough is enough?
You know, it's the same thing, you know, that he was saying, just continuous injuries, man. Because after a while, it'll start working on your psyche. You know, you can't, you know, make plays sometimes, you know, that you normally would have made. That's the biggest thing, you know. Even the guys that do come back from injury successfully, that's the thing that really is the hurdle, is you know, the mental aspect. But sometimes you just don't get around it because your body just won't allow you to. It just has restrictions where it's like, hey, you keep getting injured over and over. It's just time to shut it down, and you do have to come to grips with that. And as he said, really, and a lot of times, man, come to God and really get your answer in regards to why exactly am I here? Why am I here? What's my real purpose? You giving me all these physical tools, and I understand that, but how am I supposed to really use these tools outside of my goal? What I thought getting to the league, what I thought, but it's in regards to what is his actual plan for you.
Yep. No, that's fabulous, man. And a lot of the same things on how we even got to this point was God steering me, you know, to service. So that's big, you guys, and sharing that. And that's what we do in the locker room. We're going to shoot it to you real. Maybe something you want to hear, maybe something you don't, but you got it real in the locker room. So I'm on to our next topic, you guys. And this one was one that caught my attention because right now, something we couldn't participate in, but these boys are making NIL dollars and they're signing with big time brands. They're not just signing with mom and pop outfits. And Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son, doing his thing at Jackson State, has recently signed, and I believe the only football player, maybe even only athlete with Tom Brady's brand. So I'll shoot it to you because this is a little outside the box, Al B. I mean, right. Tom Brady, he could have went back to Michigan and got somebody, could have went to SC. Why do you think he chose Shedeur?
I know, right. He's trying to be down. You know what I'm saying? He was with Trump. Now he want to be with Shedeur. But I tell you one thing, man. I wrote about this when I was in college. I wrote about, man, this is we being pimped out here. And there needs to be an avenue for us to really experience economic prosperity. And I think the NIL is it's getting crazy now, right? Like it's past where we would even. I was hoping that we could just those who were having a brand, right? Those who had jerseys and they should receive some. T. Wood, we used to play with ourselves on the video
Game Breaker, bro. EA Sports
Game Breaker, EA, man, they had us all on there, bro.
And
I'll be like, I'm 21. I'm 21 from Colorado, coming in hard. But I didn't see $1 of that, and that's a crime, right? So let me say that. But what it's gone to now, I think it's gone from 0 to 100 real quick, right? And so it's like I'm worried about how hard it's gone. And I mean, I just saw the first college player ever to be in a commercial, the young quarterback out of Alabama. It's Bryce. Like, man, Bryce Young. How's that young man? How's he dealing with that? Right. So there's a lot. But going back to Brady, I think Brady's at the end of his career. He's going through a lot. A Trump supporter to now supporting a black quarterback in the HBCU. That's a dichotomy in and of itself. And so I think he's just trying to get things going. I mean, that brother got a lot going on in his life right now, but I'm happy for Shedeur, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like that he gets that kind of love. I mean, I know his dad is Deion and whatnot, but I think it's an interesting story.
Yeah, definitely. Talk to me, Q. I mean, obviously these deals are being tossed out to these young men and women. Some that may be watching this show, you got to decide which ones to take, which ones not to. Shedeur has linked up with Tom. Tom's linked up with Shedeur. You think this is all a Deion thing, or you think this is really Tom feeling like Shedeur's the one?
No, I feel like that Shedeur is the truth. I mean, I've seen enough tape on the kid. I've watched the games, the word televised. I had an opportunity to see. But let's look at it from a business aspect. Brady is looking at this kid because in regards to his own brand, which Brady has, which I'm sure he has a solid marketing team. He's recognizing trends, gentlemen. And the trends are successful black quarterbacks. That's a trend. And it's going to continue to trend. Brady understands that. It's somewhat, and you still, and don't get me wrong, but this has been an issue for a long time in this league. It's been, the Warren Moons that don't get mentioned enough. It's been the Randall Cunninghams, the Doug Williams that don't get mentioned enough. So
this ain't new.
Exactly. It's not new at all. So now you're seeing a trend, and they're starting to recognize that this generation, it's starting to be the norm. Successful black quarterbacks. And Brady's brand that he wants to grow, recognizing that trend. Well, this is the next guy. So of course we're gonna link up with him. It's bigger than this. It's way bigger than Prime. It's way bigger than Prime. This is an ongoing trend that's gonna continue.
Okay. Well, if that is indeed the fact, and Shedeur does have game, but it's going to be interesting to see how that transitions to the next level. And let's see if Brady hit a home run with this signing on his brand. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and this is Very, very much so a real-time topic for a lot of you young athletes. We work with athletes with Before You Go Pro, and we get the stories. And I know that some of you guys are having a little bit of a transition with maybe going from your hometown, your home state, to a college campus where diversity isn't really key, or you're not seeing any. You have to maybe drive to a bigger city miles away to see a little bit of color. So I wanted to talk to you, gentlemen, and especially you, Albie, because I know that not only on the football side of things at the University of Colorado, but also through business dealings, you're not always seeing people that look like you in those rooms. So how have you been able to be a chameleon? I think people on both sides, love you, whether it's in the urban communities or whether it's in the boardroom, man. They respect you. But how for these athletes that are listening, maybe I'm in Los Angeles, like where you grew up in the IE, and I'm going to a Kansas, I'm going to Iowa State next year. What should I expect, and how should I transition to be comfortable if I can?
Yeah. Well, T, man. We were in Boulder, man, and I tell you what, man, I was ready. We were all ready to go day one. As soon as we got there, we was duped, tricked, and we grew up in very, very diverse environments, man. And to be in an all white environment and to be a trinket, right? We were trinkets out there, right? We were athletes, and people were not dealing with us as people, as human, as men, but as trinkets and toys. That messed with me. I had never seen that before, and so I
Can
think
you elaborate on that?
Yeah, man.
For a kid listening, what is a human trinket?
Yeah, I just think that in a community that you grow up in, in California, we, it's a third. You know what I mean? Like we came in contact with. There was no minorities, right? Because we were all together in, particularly the high school I went to, right? And so there was no really, you didn't really deal with that. But we walk on campus as Black men, and it's like 8 to 10 of us, and they know we play football. We are in CU gear. They've been reading about us in the paper, and they coming up like we're cartoon characters, right? Like we are, not real humans. That we actually got to go to school. We got to play ball to pay for our school. And this is a real job, right? We work in 50, 60, 80 50, 70, 80 hours a week. In this, but we're humans. And so what I saw very quickly is I needed mentors. I'm grateful for my parents, right? My dad has since passed, but my mom was always there. I had family. I chose mentors in town that I could go to. You need leaders in your life who look like you, who are able to speak life into you. You cannot do this on your own. And T, you and I saw a lot of people break. Q, I'm sure at KU you saw a lot of people break. And if you don't have that proper, what I call, protection, that proper support, you're not gonna make it. And you can't do this on your own. And so, as a minority in these schools, and I will call out my school, my alma mater, University of Colorado, is doing a horrendous job at recruiting Black students. Let's forget about the Black athletes, but Black students right now. And we have to do a much better job in the state, nationally, to make sure we're recruiting that. And I've told the president that, I've told many individuals that we don't just play sports. We're doctors, we're lawyers, we're teachers, we're all these things. And so do a better job, do better, because we deserve better.
Yeah. And I see Wes Pratt joined us, one of Foreman's teammates. He said, Albus always did love to have a hat on.
I told you have brim.
But let talk to me, Q, because I mean, you went from the Loop, baby. You went from St. Louis, Hazelwood,
man.
to Lawrence, Kansas. Did you feel a little bit like an ink spot, or was it smooth sailing for you?
You know what? I mean, I wouldn't say it was smooth sailing. It's one of those things where the transitioning, it wasn't as hard, I guess, because I had an opportunity to be there, and my roommate was one of my former high school teammates. So that softened the blow because of the connections that he had. But I can agree, what Alice was saying in regards to like, it needs to be more people of color in the general student body. We're suiting up, on Saturdays, and you look up in the whole student body and there's still not that many, people of color, either. So these large universities, they do need to do a much, much better job as a whole at recruiting general students that are there, not the ball. They're not there to run track or anything of that nature. They're there to get to go to law school. They're there to go to medical school or whatever the case may be. Like, we are, as you said, so much more than that, and that's something, that stigma that has been placed on us by society, with those limitations on us that don't even exist.
No, that's a great point. And it does have to be a collective effort, not just because you want Duke players to ball on the hoop court, but you actually want them to feel comfortable on your campus. So that's a great point right there, you guys. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us. I am your host, Coach Terrence Wood. I got Q, the guru, holding me down, and then the fabulous Albus Brooks. There's somebody that was an All-American, you guys, in high school, coming out of Los Angeles, started off having a great career at the University of Colorado, starting as a redshirt freshman. Unfortunately, as you heard, had a massive knee injury, which cut his career short, but is doing some great things in the community. And we are on to our next topic. We're not going to keep you too much longer, Albus, because I know your phone's probably ringing, but this one was a big one and caught my attention. And as you guys know, football is about money, especially as you get to the highest levels of football. And it's not coincidence that the NFL has been having games in Europe over the last few seasons. And it looks like, you guys, that the NFL and Goodell says, man, I think it's time. I think it's time for us to have 4 teams, a conference in Europe. Q, talk to me. If you're coming out of Kansas and you get drafted to go play for the Paris Knights, are you excited? Or are you feeling like, damn, I wish I was in the States?
I mean, no, that's a great opportunity to, be able to see the world. I mean, think about it like this, guys. Look at football, our version, in regards to soccer, in regards to pay, and also too, look how basketball has grown. So football is light years behind. It'll never catch up with soccer. So you might as well just forget about that. But it's light years behind basketball as well. So the NFL is playing catch up. And because NFL Europe that had as a developmental league, when we were all still in school, and for whatever reason it became defunct, they should have made more of an effort to stay the course with that, and they would have been a lot further along than what they are now.
Albus, what do you think? Do you think, maybe 4 years from now we're watching a Super Bowl between London and the Giants? What are you thinking?
Let's be honest, y'all. The NFL has no choice. The supply of football players in America is drying up. Less people are playing football at a young age. T. Wood, just an anecdotal data. Look at the number of football players from, just to say, cell block. Our class in 1997. Our kids, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to see there's more than 5 or 10 kids out of that class of 20-something. And I've just been asking, like, hey, are your kids playing football? I'm just curious.
That's a good point.
And so what the NFL needs to do is go global. And they not just looking at Europe, man, they looking all over the world. They need a supply of players to keep the NFL going. And so, yeah, this thing is about to go. Europe is not. We took a nonstop flight from Denver to Dubai. Guess who was on the plane with us? Guess who sponsored the trip? The Denver Broncos, because they are trying to get the NFL is trying to make sure that they are planting that flag all over the world and make sure that folks start playing. Because in other countries, they're not worried about CTE. I'm just put that out there.
Yeah, great point. Great point right there, you guys. And I didn't think about that kid angle, you know, because I've got 3 in my home and none of them play football. Now, I was, and it's cool that we elaborate on this a little bit for those listening, because I am a big believer in football, you guys. I don't think I'm the person who I am today without football. And I think there's people that are a little too weak in our society, and football can help with that, you know? So, you know, I'm never going to bash football, but the way I took it, I'll be with my kids. And once again, I got 3 boys, and they all, unfortunately, one of them has special needs, autism, but physically they all could have played and been fine. But I was never going to push it on them. Now Dad's watching it. I'm watching on Saturday, you know. Now, if you come sit right next to me and start snuggling up and asking me about this game, we're going to get into this game. But if you are not interested, I'm not going to pull you on the couch, you know. And they never got interested. A matter of fact, my daughter was the only one that literally asked and was like, hey, let me play that football. So, you know, that's an interesting point that you put out there. But, hey, football in Europe, you listening to these gentlemen, is coming. Whether it's because of lack of talent pool or because of money, is coming to a stadium near you. So
definitely is. I think one thing, too, real quick, I wanted to touch on, you know, on the subject, Coach, is the fact that we were raised by baby boomers. Okay, a lot of them were blue collar. So you're talking about being a man's man. This is a man's man game. I say other than especially as far as that's why it's the ultimate team sport. Taking nothing away from hockey. Any of you hockey players out there, much respect. That is a brutal, rough game. The same, maybe even more so than football. But football is you look at football next to almost the military in a sense. You know, it's that type of mental toughness.
It's not for everybody.
It's not. You have to be built different. And the generation that raised us, these kids are being raised different, you know. And I don't like to use the word soft, but you kind of have forced to kind of use it, you know, because that's just kind of what it is. You know, and we were talking about this. That's why you saw the Coach Cowher and Bill Parcells. These guys could still be coaching. These young guys, talented, but they can't take that kind of coaching.
Okay. Yeah, you know, it's
in other countries. And in other countries,
hey, Q, being a man's man,
being a man in other countries. You've been in Dubai. Tell us about that. You know, the culture there. A man is a man over there. You see what I mean? It's that masculinity, and that's what this game is based on.
I'm getting hype over here. You over here talking about being soft.
It's pure testosterone. That's what it is, man. And society looks at people like us guys as barbarians in a sense. You know, we're uncivilized, but that's what this game requires.
Yeah.
You can find that in the rest of the world. Very interesting topic. I didn't even think it was going to go to the left.
Trying to take us off. I'm getting excited. You know what
I'm saying? We're going to have to bring this one up. And you know, if you got comments or feelings, it's okay because it's the locker room and things go down in the locker room. So we are going to move on to a family portion and one of the favorite portions of the show. And I'm very excited to see how this gentleman does, but we are on to the lightning round, you guys. The lightning round is where it goes down. We got our lightning coming in right there. We ain't playing around, but this is our version. If you're joining us for the very first time of word association, word association, you guys. So whoever our guest is, and tonight is the great Albus Brooks, they got 60 seconds to tell us the first thing that comes to their mind when I say the person's name, when I say the place, the term, when I ask their opinion. They got 60 seconds, y'all, to give me what they thinking. And I know this young man is going to keep it at least PG-13 because he got the kiddos in the back. Now, maybe when we were coming out of California back in the late 90s, it might have been a different thing on Albie's mind, but we're not going to get into that in the locker room show. So let me get my stopwatch ready. You ready, Albie?
Let's go, baby.
All right, so you get one extra because every once in a while we have a technical delay. So we give everybody one extra. You got 60 seconds. First thing that comes to your mind, unfiltered. I think I got a pretty good list for you here, and we're going to see what he's thinking. Now, I got my stopwatch. You guys see it's a 0, so we're not cheating nobody. And we need a buff win. We ain't had too many buff wins in a while, so we need a good showing. Now, this isn't just for fun. If you can get, I believe it's 13, then we actually got a hotel stay and a dinner for you. And I know you got the missus watching too. So, if you can get to 13, we rocking and rolling. So let's get started. And I won't stop the clock. I won't start the clock, you guys, until I say the first word. All right. So everybody watching, this is Albus Brooks going through the lightning round. All right. First word, John Elway. Go.
Horrible selection of draft picks for 10 years straight.
Boulder, Colorado.
Woo, gorgeous, beautiful, slow to love, but
Mel Tucker.
That mother. That's my dog, though. Go get it, Mel. Go get it.
Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle?
Oh, Dave Chappelle all day, but Kevin Hart is hilarious.
Favorite food spot in LA? You have 40 seconds. Hurry up.
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Let's go.
Best player you played against?
Ricky Williams.
Walter Payton.
The GOAT.
Ray Caruth. Time.
Bruh. How you gonna do that, bruh? That's horrible. T.
Oh, man, I'm about to cut my mic off on that one.
Hey, T,
you want to wrap this up and go home.
Hey, T Wood, you need Jesus, bro. He did,
hold on real quick.
I got a story. T would know the story, and I can't believe he said that, bro.
Man, hold on, man.
I might not know the story. Hold on. There might be a few stories out there I don't know about, right? But we love everybody, and we just getting some expertise on some things. So we gonna revisit a couple of these, but I still you was giving a little bit too much description, and we need the boom, boom, boom. So we only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to end with 7, and then you get 1 extra for 8. So you got 8. There are a couple people on there that we didn't get to. We didn't get to the Rick Neuheisel. We didn't get to the Pat Surtain II. We didn't get to the Lethal Weapon of Bad Boys. So we're going to get to some things. But let's revisit a couple, though. Let's revisit. He said he's going to the Chappelle over the Hart. He said Hart need to build up a little bit more resume first. He said he's going –
Keep going, bro. He don't need. I was just at his show this week. He was in Denver. He was fired. But I mean, Chappelle is.
Yeah.
Okay, next level. Okay, so the resume's tight for Hart, but Chappelle just took it to another level. Then he said, Elway, you're not feeling the Elway picks, huh? I was just talking about Surtain. You ain't feeling Elway?
Elway bought out. He bought out as a player. He was not a good general manager, and it's important. This is something we do in my business. Be honest about what you're great at, what you're good at, and what you need help at, right? And just be honest about it. He's not a great, and he's part of the reason. I mean, man, I don't even want to start. I'm a for real Broncos fan now. You know what I'm saying? I've been here 25 years. Very disappointed.
He got the Broncos flag, so he got to play a fine line there. And then Walter Payton, of course, to go. Walter Payton playing man of the year. You can't say nothing about Walter. So we loving it right there. I see Avocado Baby coming in saying that's the truth right there, and that's all we want in the locker room is the truth. So we are on to our last section of the show, you guys, and definitely appreciate your time, Al B, man, especially on the late notice. And bringing it, you're locking it down here in the locker room. So I wanted to ask you a question, and then if anybody is in the chat live and you got a question for Albus Brooks, please feel free to ask the question. But blind spots, man, blind spots. I got kids that are getting ready to go off to college soon, and they're going to be making their decisions. Early signing period in December, regular sign period in February. Then their parents are shipping them off. When you think back to leaving LA with all those dreams and hopes, man, and coming out New Heizel, Boulder, Colorado, at different time, they were top team in the country, looking at national championships. Obviously, you're thinking NFL. What were a couple blind spots where you were like, because you didn't drop the ball. You didn't get sent home. You weren't one of those tragic stories, but what are some of those things where you like, damn, if I would have known that then, or if I would have been a little bit more gamed up on that, I could have really cashed out.
Yeah, I think, man, I just had people saying, bro, you gonna ball and we gonna live and we gonna kick it. And that's not the reality, y'all. You are going to have a good time playing football. You may make it to the league. I was just talking to my brother in T Wood. You need to have him on the show, Marlon Barnes. Marlon was running 4.2 at 210 and played for Miami, played for Chicago. All that he made was about $300,000. Let me tell y'all something. $300,000 ain't nothing, y'all. And this is a baller. So I guess it's a much more holistic view. We put way too much pressure on ourselves, especially as black men getting up in there like, man, this is my only shot. That's not your only shot. That's a lie. We were made and gifted in ways that we don't even understand. And so I think as I would go back, I wish I could do a gifts test and really understand like what careers really line up with me, because those careers actually gonna make more money than football will. Just being completely honest, and not putting so much pressure on myself that, and we all did that. We put so much pressure on ourselves, man, to be like, Deion, bro. I mean, come on, me and T Wood got in the games, man, and put all the stuff that Deion was doing back in the 90s. We did that, bro.
Yeah,
right. Q, I know you did it at KU.
We all did.
Man, me and T Wood was in the mirror, bro. Like, man, I'm a ball out. Like, hey, what you gonna do? So that was way too much pressure when there's all these other opportunities out here. I didn't know I could make $1 million a year doing real estate, doing this, doing that. Yeah. If I just apply myself. And so I think that was the trap. And that's the trap against most black men to begin with, that you just get on the field and run, bro. No, we're smart, man. We're brilliant. We have incredible charisma. We have incredible leadership opportunities. And so that's kind of what I want to, encourage to a lot of our folks. And if you ain't black, all this stuff is that, man, you have so many other opportunities. It ain't just football.
Wow, that's powerful right there. Q, talk to me, man. I mean, obviously, they took you out of St. Louis and they brought you to the Big 12 and they said sink or swim, and you were able to swim. But what were some of those blind spots, man, where you look back and you like, man, I missed that one? Or, ooh, if I knew that, what I know now, things be different. What are a couple blind spots that you could give to the kid watching from St. Louis today?
Yeah, absolutely. One I would definitely say is football is, man, a great sport. It teaches you a lot. It builds character, work ethic. I could go on and on, but it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand it of course, man, you want to get to the league, you know, man, if you have that kind of talent, like we get that part, but football is an absolute tool. And what I wish I would have known then, you know, that I know now, is I would have made more connections while I was there in Lawrence on campus. You know, with because you're with the homies, you're with the squad so much, you don't venture outside of that a whole lot. Yeah. And that's what I would have done, is expanded my circle.
You mean around the campus or even outside?
Yeah, the campus and outside the campus. You know, but it's expanding you know your circle outside of just your guys on the squad. Because like you said, and that's sometimes you don't think about that again, because it does kind of go back to a minority thing in a sense, because it's like, well, man, we the only brothers on campus other than the, you know, the hoopers and maybe a couple of people on the track team, you know, but you can't think that way. You have to make connections of people, all colors, you know, wherever you from, and expand it, because that's going to come in handy, you know, when you do leave that campus, man. You'll be able, you know, like you being a councilman, but imagine having the connections you have now, but you're 20. Still in Boulder, but have that type of connections where you can dial up an alderman. You work, you know, with, you know, even people and, you know, even their parents. You know, this kid, you got cool with him. His dad, you know, might have a whole law firm. You know, so that's one thing that I would have done, is expanded my circle way bigger than, you know, what I had it at the time.
Well, a perfect example is he just got finished being a councilman. How many CU buffs have reached out to you and said, hey, teach me the game?
Man, none. But I'm gonna tell you, we are so lost, bro. Like when I tell you this, and I was lost, right? I mean, if somebody would have came in there, we would have laughed at him, bro. If a councilman would have came and talked in front of, we would have look at this dude's shoes. I mean, and I would have been sitting right next to you, T Wood, and I'd have been laughing too.
Clowning dude.
But we didn't have the foresight to be like, hey, bro, we really thought we was gonna be in the league the next year, and pay for. I mean, we believed that. Like we were manifesting. We were manifesting that. I was like, man, hey, don't matter, T. If you on the East Coast, we got to kick it every year, and you know, like we were already. But the reality is put a lot of irons in the fire. This is what I learned. Put a lot of irons in the fire, man. Go ahead, go do this, go do. The one thing I did well though, at CU is the scholarship donors. I built a great base with them, right? And they funded my first nonprofit. I mean, completely.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And so that was the one thing that I was like, you know what? And that happened my last year when I blew out my knee. I was like, okay, let me go over to dinner and apologize to these folks that we kind of was laughing at, because you're just a kid. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're just a kid. You're thinking about the party.
Yeah. Man, let me be honest. T Wood was thinking about the party. I was thinking about them books.
All right, you about to get muted. And we're muting Albus Brooks.
Bro, man, I love seeing T Wood do this stuff, because I don't care where you come from. T Wood is leading this right now. This cat, I'm telling you, transformation right here. I love watching this.
I'll be the first to say it.
This is my guy. This is my guy.
Right. All right, we're gonna end the show.
Look at his face.
The show on that note, because once again, Father,
love you, bro. I love you, bro, for real.
No doubt, man. Much love, and you know, once again,
it's good to meet you, bro.
Definitely, you as well, my man. We'll definitely be in touch. We're sure we're gonna talk some more.
Yeah, let's
all right, you guys. So hey, there you have it. Very, very special guest. This is somebody, once again, I've known since we were teenagers, and to see where this young man is at now, what he's doing with his family, what he's doing with families and young people in Denver, totally has transformed not only just the urban communities, but communities throughout Denver. Everybody knows Albus Brooks, and you guys have been blessed to have him in the Locker Room Show tonight. So, hey, brother, keep doing the great work, man. And when I get out there, I'm going to get with you.
Please do, bro. Q, good to meet you, my man.
Definitely. Be safe, my guy.
All right, you guys. So, hey, there you have it. Once again, we're going to bring you the best. We're going to bring you people that aren't going to lie to you, people that are going to tell it from the heart. We don't bring anybody in here that does not care about you guys succeeding. So whether you're a player, a parent, a coach, if you know players, parents, coaches, get them in the locker room. Get them in the locker room. Q, what's your thoughts, man, on the show tonight and for the people?
Hey, great show. And, he is living proof that, again, football, as great as it is, we love the sport, but you can end up being so much more than just a ball player. And that's awesome to be able to, interview and be on the show with guys such as that, for sure.
Yeah, no, amazing player, you guys. I mean, he could have went anywhere in the country coming out of LA. A lot of you guys would have loved the options that Albus had. Totally on track to be a high draft choice. And unfortunately, his knee gave out on him. So hopefully you guys got some value out of tonight's show. I know you did. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the button. I've been letting you off the hook the last couple shows. You guys got to hit the button so that the algorithms pump us up, so that YouTube shows us to more potential viewers, people that need this type of information, people that can grow from this type of information. So we appreciate you joining us tonight. We will be back live next Thursday with another amazing football guest. And hopefully you guys do what? What do we need them to do, Q, this weekend?
Make plays.
Make plays. We'll see y'all at the top. Have a good one.